You're a fraud.
You're a liberal hack.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Hack and the Fraud. My name is Ryan. I am joined this time by Nicholas.
By me.
Yes. And today we saw, after a bit of deliberation, we ended up seeing Space Jam, A New Legacy.
A New Hope.
And it was directed by Malcolm D. Lee, who I can tell you some of his credits.
Yeah, go ahead. Just off the top of your head.
Known for directing numerous comedy films, that's in air quotes, because it's The Best Man, Undercover Brother, Roll
That's
Bounce,
great.
Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins, Soul Men, Scary Movie 5,
Good.
The Best Man Holiday, Girls Trip, and Night School.
Look, 2 out of 10. I'll accept that.
It's a screenplay by 6 people. And you know what they say when it comes to writing? The more the better. More voices. More. Just everybody keep molding this script till it's perfect. Can't get any better.
Tell, don't show.
It's got a story by 4 other people. And it stars LeBron James.
As himself.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, he's not playing Michael Jordan.
No. And a couple of other wasted actors. And it's about a rogue artificial intelligence that captures people's souls in technology to torment them eternally.
Yeah, it's quite visceral. It's some really horrifying scenes. Have you got the cast in front of you? Can you just confirm was LeBron James's and the James
the
bunch,
children?
They are all Jameses. Is
are
that
they
correct?
actually his?
Or are they? Oh, they're not. I wasn't sure.
Cedric Joe. Well, Cedric Joe doesn't sound like LeBron's.
It doesn't sound like James.
Oh, it's a fictionalized version of Bryce James.
Oh.
And yeah, a fictionalized version of Bronny James Jr. Yeah, they're just. I felt he should have used his actual family.
No, I was glad they didn't. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the kid was such a good actor. They were smart with that. Yeah.
Kids are never good actors. It would have been even worse. Had they used... Yeah, kids obviously sometimes are good actors.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bring this up.
Well, if you're going to set a whole movie around a kid, you get a good kid. Sixth Sense, good. True Grit, good.
That's 2.
Yeah, count them.
How about The Wonder Emporium or something? There's others that aren't good. I'm sure there is. I'm sure.
Anyway, well, they didn't use the family, and that kind of makes sense to me. It fits the movie. Anyway, trailer time. We'll come back.
Trailer.
Basketball camp is next weekend. You got amazing potential on the court, and I can help you get there.
That's not what I want, Dad. You never let me do what I want to do. You never let me just do me.
Hold up. Wrong floor. Bet Will Smith ain't got to deal with this.
Dad!
Down! What in the Matrix hell?
Okay, and we're back.
What do you guys think of the trailer?
I realized last time with the wailing that I had to put the trailer in because we paused, and I was like, cut to trailer. It's a South Korean fucking movie. I don't know if you listened back to the podcast. It's a South Korean trailer. Nobody knows what's happening. It's just music in South Korean language.
Yeah, but it's a sound.
It's the sound of it. I felt that it was kind of getting across the vibe anyway.
Yeah, look, if you didn't watch The Wailing since we recommended it so nicely to you last week, I don't know what do you want from what more do you want from us?
And to follow up The Wailing, another pretty similar movie. Space Jam, A New Legacy.
What were your initial thoughts? You go first.
My initial thoughts are this is the pinnacle of corporate cuckoldry. We're sucking at the teat of these mega million corporations and people. It's just art exploited. Like, I can't imagine if one of my movies was in this. Like, I would fucking hate that. This movie is the death of everything I love. It's not even a movie. It's not a movie. It's the Happy Meal of motion pictures. That's all it is. It's a Happy Meal toy.
So it's for kids.
It's not for kids because there are good kids movies. I like kids movies. There are many good kids. Shrek.
I'm very thankful you said movies at the end of that sentence.
Are you?
Yeah.
I love kids, movies.
Yeah, combat movies. Look, I don't know. I think that's a bit harsh.
Is it? Is it harsh enough?
Maybe we should just accept our corporate overlords. Yeah, look, it was shameful. It was shameful at times. I'll tell you what, the first, I want to say first third, I was ready to absolutely hate this movie. I was just having a shit time. My back was sore.
First third is the worst.
Need I go on?
Yeah.
This movie's for you. And then I just had a bit of a turnaround, and I kind of liked it from there.
The movie turned around a little bit.
A lot of bit for me.
A lot of bit.
I really do not want to be here defending this movie. And yet
that's your job now.
I got to defend this movie. Yeah. I don't even want to like this movie. I wanted to like the original one, which I do like better. But this was the for me, the greater conversation about this movie is who is the GOAT out of LeBron and Michael Jordan.
Ooh,
this was like the final like decision.
Was it?
This was to me the final decision.
Is LeBron retired?
He should be.
Yeah.
I tell you what was funny. One of the key, at the very start of the film, he talks about how you can't have any distractions and you got to give your all to the court. And when you're don't think of other things. He's making this movie while he still has a career. This flies in the face of his current career right now.
Yeah, so you're saying this movie...
His team came 8th last, this season.
Yeah, he even says...
They probably would have come first.
No, man, I can't do acting. I got to focus on my career. Meanwhile,
in the movie, but in real life, he said, "Yeah, show me the money. I'll do this movie.
Show me the money." That is the movie. The movie exists only to improve LeBron's brand and some dead fucking WB franchises. Oh, the Gremlins are here. Nobody cares. Nobody wants this anymore. There's been enough references. We've lived in the post-ironic age for 20 fucking years. When do we get to post-ironic? When can we just be done with references? With fucking... bringing back Peter Cushing as a fucking CGI puppet in Rogue One. When can we move past all this shit and just say, let's do something new? Space Jam 1 at least is new.
Why do you bring Rogue One into it?
That
when
there's
so many worse Star Wars films.
But that one, it has the most egregious callbacks and references and all that nonsense. Marvel, it's the same shit. Yes, it is. Well, I mean, we can argue, but Rogue One is pretty bad for it.
All the Star Wars.
It's got random side characters that pop up and go, "Blue, I'm here." That doesn't happen in the other Star Wars movies.
It does. Solo. It happens in all of them. It happens in literally all of them.
Does Solo have too much of like little? Okay, we're not talking about it. We're not getting into all this.
Let's talk about Space Jam. Let's keep on.
Let's keep it on the court. Space Jam. Yeah, that's right. Everything that happens in these 4 lines is work.
Points in the paint.
Buckets.
There's
a lot of that.
A lot of buckets. Okay, speaking of corporate, how did you love when his character was thrown into the Toon World and then there was a big Nike single?
Oh, yeah, I fucking hated that. I fucking hated it. Yeah, so when LeBron first becomes a Toon and then he falls to Toon World and he smashes into the ground and they'll normally leave like a LeBron-shaped hole in the ground. Fucking Nike tick, man.
Yeah. This is where LeBron was at his all-time lowest and at my point, the lowest point of the film too. I really was just ready to walk out almost at that point.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. The whole opening third is dog shit. Like when they're at LeBron's house, they're clearly on a green screen. Like he wouldn't even let them film in his house. That's the thing about this movie. It tells you that it's a sentimental story about family and LeBron and everything. Doesn't use anybody from his own family. Doesn't let them film in his house. It's just all corporatized nonsense. He is clearly been given an acting coach for this because his acting is not terrible, but it's that kind of new actor.
He can act. So in this he's terrible. I agree. He's really bad in this.
Yeah.
He's outstandingly bad, but he can act because Trainwreck I thought he was quite good.
Oh,
he had a part in that where he actually had comedic timing. He showed glimpses of that, but he was trying to be too much of Michael Jordan.
Yeah. He's been getting that for a while.
He's been doing that for a while.
Yeah, he is trying to be MJ.
His own son calls him one of the greats, by the way. His own son in the movie.
He's one of the greatest of all time.
One of the greatest of all time.
Not even the greatest.
Case in point. He's obviously, if your own son doesn't call
you the greatest. And then Don Cheadle goes, debatable.
He doesn't even think Don Cheadle, who's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Actually, that's another thing.
We should talk about Don Cheadle. We need to talk about it. The
casting was terrible there, wasn't it? How bad was that?
Don Cheadle, I have figured this out recently. It's not that he's a bad actor, because I did remember Hotel Rwanda. I was like, no, he's good.
He's won an Oscar.
He's won an Oscar.
Yeah.
He cannot play villain. Never, ever put Don Cheadle in another villain role, Hollywood, because he can't do it. He's
Yeah,
just like
what's another role that
well,
he
I've seen clips of House of Lies recently, this TV show he's on, and he has kind of like villainy monologues. And I watched that just the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, is Don Cheadle not a good actor?" And then I saw this, I was like, "He just can't play villain. He just doesn't have it."
Which kind of means you're not a great actor, though. If you
Maybe.
can't do
Look, maybe.
one half.
But how good was he in Hotel Rwanda? He's like perfect.
No, I
in
know
that
he's
movie.
great in that.
So you can't act.
My problem was that he wasn't funny enough to be this villain. I found his like the really for me there were like funny parts in this movie scattered,
Yeah.
but he had a lot of the funny lines,
sure.
which maybe sound good. But his delivery was just nonsense. It was just crap. It was over-delivered.
Over-delivered, yeah.
At times, he's trying to get like his acting was really horrific. And you needed someone like I want to say like Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he could have been good.
No, you needed to have someone with a bit of like
Charisma.
charisma. Well, I'm sure he's got charisma, but just that comedy charisma to actually play this part. And this movie is honestly way better.
Yeah, probably.
It's such.
I don't know about way better. I don't know if it's going
better. It's better.
It's better,
Yeah,
no doubt,
obviously,
because
yeah.
Don Cheadle was very poorly cast in this role. And look, good on him. He's got $20 million for it. Happy days.
I feel like he's kind of honed it in recently.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like he's been doing Marvel and shit for the last.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, what was the last great Don Cheadle role you saw?
No, exactly.
So like that's disappointing because and look, then there's other wasted, like Sarah Silverman's in it for 30 seconds, probably got $1 million though, which is pretty good. And then what's his name? Steven from The Walking Dead.
Glenn,
the guy who plays Glenn in The Walking Dead. No,
I know
Stephen
him as
Young
Glenn.
or something.
Sure,
He's blown
I
up
hope you're
recently,
right.
so we should know. But I never really liked him in The Walking Dead. I didn't think
Yeah, I
Glenn
don't
was
like
that
him too.
good. But
Yeah.
now he's getting nominated for Oscars and shit. So maybe
What
he's-
else from what?
there was a movie that came out this year that was nominated for Best Picture about like growing up Asian American in America, and he played kind of like himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so easy to get.
Well,
Oscars
he's
for that,
in
maybe.
there. He's literally in there for 15 seconds. I
Yeah,
feel
maybe.
like.
So like I don't even understand, but I guess the movies do this when it's that big. And look, it's a kids movie. That's fine, but. There are like look at Shrek. That's full of references, like ironic. You know, it has the same elements that Space Jam has, but it's a good movie. Like it's a good movie that anybody can enjoy. Unless you're a child, I don't see people enjoying this movie.
Yeah, probably not. Like I found some of it funny. There was a really great joke, which we'll sort of talk about now.
Okay.
Which we both agreed was a great joke,
Which
or
one?
maybe just the funniest joke in the film.
Which one was that?
Okay, so it was halftime
Yeah.
in the big match at the end, and
Yeah.
they say, "We've found him. We've found Michael Jordan."
Oh yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, the tunes are down.
Yeah.
They're like 1,000 points to 37.
Yeah.
and they're like, "We found Michael Jordan." And I really thought Michael Jordan was coming.
Yeah, I was
like they
ready for
really
Michael
built it up. They
Jordan.
had the music. They had the silhouette come in, and then it was Michael B. Jordan. Very good. And then
It was good. Yeah,
the line, "We couldn't get Michael A. Jordan." Like I like that as well. That was pretty funny.
that kind of whole sequence was good. I like that.
Yeah.
And he was sort of just like,
He
"Oh
was like,
yeah,
"Hey,
I'm here, and now I'm gone." Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's silly, but it was
silly
good. I
but
liked
funny.
It.
That
Yeah.
look, that line. Was
More of that
funny.
would have been great, but yeah, no. I think we're underselling how bad the first third of this movie is. If you can sit through that,
Which is all in the real world, we should be clear. Like,
Oh,
that's the worst parts of the movie.
and the end's probably we'll talk about the end at the
as
very
well.
end.
Yeah, that's
but-
right. The middle third is kind of okay when it becomes like a cartoon, and it's 2D cartoon, like almost pencil drawn. Like it's clearly made on a computer, like all animation is these days. But it is in the style of the original Looney Tunes, like 2D animation. Great. And that kind of bit is charming in a way. It's old school. It's like slapstick. You got a bunch of old like Bugs Bunny jokes and like Speedrunner jokes and Marvin the Martian jokes. Again, they're callbacks, but it's kind of charming.
Yeah, I didn't find
The
like-
middle third was, I thought,
Yeah.
when it was more cartoony. And then I had a problem with the first third in the real world and the final third, which was full CG computer animation.
like the actual game.
Yeah,
The
whole
of
game. It was
basketball.
just,
See,
oh,
I
want it to
kind of
end.
enjoyed a bit of that game, and it was kind of silly, and the whole sort of how they
They take
we'll
NBAs.
talk about it. We'll go spoilers. You
Yeah,
know
we're
what?
getting halfway through, and it's fucking Space Jam.
we
You
don't-
know exactly. Anybody can guess exactly the plot of this movie.
But you don't know when they're going to be ahead. They're ahead at third quarter. They come back. It's
Yeah.
third quarter, and they're already back. They're already in front. I thought that was a bit early. It was a bit early to
and then
jumping,
They had to go back again to them losing again to have them come back again at the last second.
which was kind of. I just thought that kind of needed.
that emotional journey just happened twice in quick succession.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're losing. Oh, now they've come back. Oh, now they're losing. Oh, now they've come back. Just happened right after the other.
Mixed with a bunch of crap about father and son.
Yeah.
Which is seriously the weakest part, because you need to have actors that can sell that, and they don't sell it.
Yeah, it's literally just like written in. Okay, we're doing the father-son thing.
Tick, tick.
By the numbers, tick, tick, tick. Didn't believe it at all. In my mind, I'm thinking LeBron is actually probably a terrible father. That's what I got out of the movie. I'm like, yeah, this dude definitely doesn't pay attention to his kids at all. They wrote this movie and he acted in it and it's come out and he still hasn't learned the lesson of the main character, probably. Like his fictional self.
I feel like we all know Michael Jordan's an asshole, but we kind of think maybe LeBron's worse.
Yeah, right. Like Michael is open about like, yeah, I'm an asshole. Whereas LeBron is like, no, I'm a good guy. I'm the
Calls
king.
himself
like,
the king.
Yeah.
I feel like normally that's a bit of a clue into the person if they refer to themselves as the king. I mean, he probably is. He is the king, but he's got king on his guy. It's like, yeah, he probably is an asshole. That wouldn't make sense.
Well, I mean, like when you are the greatest of all time, arguably one of the greatest of all time.
If we've got any listeners out there that actually do think LeBron is the greatest of all time, do give us a tweet or whatever you want to do. I'm sure there can't be many of you, like, because it's really silly.
Hashtag question of the week.
It's a silly hill to die on to think that LeBron is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, when you have MJ right next to it. Right there.
In your own lifetime too.
That's right.
Like you were alive in the
You could see.
You're alive in the 90s, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Most of us.
Most of us.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Anything we can say about the movie that's positive? I don't really have anything.
I've said some. No, there was some. Like I had a few laughs at a few of the jokes. And
you know what they should have done? They should have committed to killing bugs. They almost did.
All right, spoiler. Here we go.
We're at the end. Yeah. We already said spoiler warning. It's fine.
I'm spoiling. Spoiler again.
So, like, at the end, whatever, it doesn't matter. Bugs has to sacrifice himself. Or doesn't have to, but chooses to sacrifice himself. Best line in the movie was when he's about to die. He goes, "That's all, folks." And then he, like, his spirit flies away. Yeah, and I was like, that's pretty baller. They just fucking killed Bugs. Of course, 2 minutes later.
It's not actually
He's
dead,
like, I'm a cartoon. Nothing can kill me. It's like, whatever. If
they
had just killed
Bugs. That meant nothing.
Yeah, even when they killed Bugs, I was like, I don't really feel it, but
they could have killed a weaker tune, maybe. Like someone that deserved.
I don't think you can kill any of the Looney Tunes and get away with it in the kids' film. Yeah, probably not. Although I wish they did. Like, I mean, I was imagining this movie just kind of edit it to be way darker. You can kind of get there with it. I don't know. Just with the Don Cheadle character and everything, I feel like this could go very dark. Unfortunately, not.
No, that's a big sort of glaring mistake for me. Is that character Don Cheadle? Algae Rhythm, because he's the algorithm. Like, this is the hottest movie for kids of 2011. It's like everything is so dated. It's like Game of Thrones references.
The algorithm is like a person called Algae Rhythm. It's like, we know what algorithms are now. Like in 2011, you could be like an algorithm, and we're great, whatever. Oh, they're in the serververse now, but we all have technology. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like Space Jam 1, fine. He falls into a golf hole and he's in Looney Tunes. Fine.
Yeah, I mean that kind of all makes sense. Well, Looney Tunes, love it or hate it, it's nostalgic for many people that
absolutely
watched it. And if you watch it again, it obviously is dated, but it
Space
sort of
Jam
has
or Looney Tunes.
Both.
Sure.
No, mainly Space Jam. Space Jam.
Oh yeah.
It's dated, but it's like it serves a purpose for the time. But at least it wasn't like a film from the 90s that should have been filmed in like the 80s or something like that.
Although I do feel like in the future, when we're separated
what are computers?
Yeah,
it's like,
right. Yeah. But when we're separated from this time, maybe 2011 to 2020 won't seem so different and we'll kind of forget. I kind of imagine kids watching it now, like 5-year-olds, will love this movie. And then they will probably be thinking about it in 15 years like we were with Space Jam. Maybe Space Jam. I wonder what Roger Ebert gave Space Jam 1. Probably similar.
I think they'll prefer to suffocate.
Yeah, look, I'm
going to speak to 5-year-olds, but maybe some people. Look, kids will probably like this. Okay. There are funny moments like where you feel any ages might be laughing or rolling your eyes going, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah.
Look, I smiled once.
I liked a few of the references in the basketball. Like, so there's a few sport references which I like. So there's another one where Don Cheadle's the coach and he's getting really mad and he throws the hood up and he gets the clipboard out like he's Bill Belichick, and
Yeah.
I really thought that was funny.
Yeah,
Just because
yeah.
he was getting really angry.
That's
and
a
he's-
deep cut for basketball. Not even
Not
that deep,
5-year-olds
really.
aren't going to
Not
be getting that
5-year-olds,
reference.
yeah.
But I thought it was funny.
Even if you have a cursory interest in basketball, you probably won't get it. But like, that's one for the fans. Great.
Yeah.
But again, that feels like a tick. Now we've got that demographic.
Oh yeah,
You know, like
they,
it just
they got me.
every demographic. Like, and it's like half Fortnite. Like LeBron does a dab. Like it is exactly what you imagine it to be.
Yeah, the dab was more endearing. Like, not I don't want to say endearing, but it was more like just
I smiled, but
but like he's just a dad trying to embarrass his
Yeah,
kid.
that's
I
right.
didn't see that as like he's trying to claim the dab and make it like he knows it's not cool, but
That's right. But
that's fine.
That's
a pass.
sure fine. All right, I'll allow that joke to
Next.
next. Yeah, like I smiled a couple of times, I chuckled once, and I had two like laugh out loud moments, but I wasn't supposed to. When Bugs goes, "That's all, folks," and he dies, I was like, "That's fucking funny." Like I'm imagining kids crying. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
funny
yeah.
for that reason. And
And
Michael-
LeBron's kind of fine with it too. He's like, thanks, Buzz.
LeBron is so weird in this movie, man. It's
Yeah.
like he's a robot sent from the future. When he smiles, it's not a real smile. The man can't smile. He's like Arnie in Terminator 2 pretending to smile. That's what whenever LeBron smiles in this movie, it creeps me the fuck out.
I think Arnie was a lot more self-aware that he was.
That's right. Yeah, he's
robotic
doing like
too.
a silly face because he's a robot, whereas LeBron is like an actual like human robot who doesn't have the emotion that constitutes smiling. He just doesn't have it in him.
See, this kind of works in Trainwreck because that's the running joke is that he sort of is just so what do we like so deadpan with his delivery that it makes it funny.
Makes it funny.
It doesn't work in this at all.
Yeah, well, if
because
they
it's-
had Bill Hader for a writer, maybe it would be funny.
right there you go. Yeah.
See, I don't think that this movie is impossible to make funny.
No
or-
way. Yeah. There's definitely something. There's a lot of notes you can take.
Yeah.
That six
Well, that's the
writers might
problem.
need to
Too many notes.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Let's get the scores.
we got to.
We're the first ones to score this.
Got to
Too.
talk a little bit
one's-
more about it, I guess. Is there anything else that stuck out to you?
Well, maybe you can talk about the technical shit that you normally talk about.
All right. Well,
Were the
Uninspired.
camera lenses okay?
no, they weren't because it was all filmed inside a fucking computer. Like they just put the oh my god, so much of this movie made me angry. Like he creates a video game by like scanning people with his iPhone, and then they're in the game now. The whole thing about the games, the E3 is like E3 paid for advertising in this movie. There's so much product placement in this movie. But that's what this movie is. It's not. Obviously, it's not cinema, but it's not even a movie. It's not even a theme park ride.
It's
A catalog? A catalog of WB materials?
I want to say it's a corporate tweet.
Yeah, it's a corporate it's like a Joe Biden tweet that's like funny, that's written by like some 20-year-old intern that's relating to the kids.
Yeah.
And it's just so it's like, motherfucker, I know you don't know how to use Twitter. Why are you tweeting 50 times a day, Joe Biden? You're not really like, and that's what this movie is. It's like, I know you don't really care about your children, LeBron. That's why you're making this movie for millions of dollars for yourself. And the whole movie is him trying to make his kid be a basketballer. It's such a boring fucking story. Like, the kid wants to do him, and dad's like, you got to play basketball. He's like, I want to be a video game designer, dad. And then by the end of the movie, he's like, all right, you can do video games. And it's like, why is that?
Yeah,
Again, 2011.
absolutely. Look, it lacks a soul, this movie. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, where Space Jam,
Has
for
it-
me,
yeah.
didn't really lack that. I
No.
thought I sort of remember, well, maybe as
There's
a
a
kid, I don't
reason
know.
it exists in our consciousness,
Yeah.
why it has continued to.
You remember
perforate.
you remember things like, you know, the magic water at halftime, don't you? You always think of that when you're playing sport. Or, I don't know. I often do.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think this movie's going to have that kind of longevity.
I don't think it is.
But I'm just saying, I didn't hate it like I thought I was going to hate it, but I'm finding myself defending it. I don't know why.
because I am so
yeah,
against
you're
this
so
movie.
against it.
Because unfortunately, like I would say the middle kind of third, and then a bit of the final act, I enjoyed. But from a moral perspective, I hate this
Yeah,
movie.
no, fair enough.
Like some of
Yeah.
it succeeds in small ways, but that's not enough for me to kind of like consider it this whole kind of
yeah,
movie.
I in the end found it entertaining. So that's
Wow.
that's the parts that stood out for me.
The parts that were entertaining were
seriously, the first third is that bad. I've just forgotten about it.
Yeah, well, but
I shouldn't
it's
forget
really
about
bad.
It really,
It's
is so
really quite
like
bad.
gnawing your eyes out bad. That's how.
I was thinking of even little things they could do, like you know how Don Cheadle has the kind of assistant CGI thing that's just his assistant. It could have been Clippy, and you could have done Clippy jokes. You know, like that's just one thing you could do. Or like make him a reference, like make it be Siri, like actually make it be Siri, and you can kind of do something fun with that. Instead, it's just this kind of like random creature that goes.
Yeah.
But he is a computer. They're in a computer. You can kind of play with those references. Like you can play with lots of different things. Like pretty much all of the movie references and the franchise references, the Game of Thrones, the Harry Potter, they're all wasted just by like you look in the crowd and there's the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange, which I love the idea that Looney Tunes and A Clockwork Orange exist in the same world.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Man. Even just Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones. Like I found myself smiling, giggling a bit, laughing at the Mad Max scene, and then hating myself. So there's the scene where they go into Mad Max world, I guess, because WB owns the rights to Mad Max. So fucking chuck it in. Why not? And it's like the Looney Tunes doing "Witness Me," but like that's a real fucking movie. Yeah. That's a real movie with. They're
taking a shit on, but
they're literally taking a shit on.
But it's still funny. I still was the same. I was laughing and I was feeling very guilty.
But then I hated myself.
But I kind of laughed at that, but I hated just the Game of Thrones references throughout the whole thing. For me, it was just like, what is that doing in here?
When the rooster guy is being Khaleesi?
Like, what? Kids aren't going to get that. They're not allowed to watch that for a long, long time.
Well, that's like trying to hit the adult demographic. Like, oh,
it's just so bad for us. Like, we hate seeing that.
I know.
So who's that for?
Right?
Who is it for, Warner Brothers?
It's like Amazon. You like being able to get the delivery that day, but it's bad for the world that this exists. That's how I feel. This is the Amazon Prime of movies.
I've gotten Amazon stuff recently.
So have I. I've ordered some today, but it's bad for the world, and I feel bad about it. Like I feel good when I get the thing.
But it's named after a gigantic river in South America. It can't be evil, could it? Okay, let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Tie a little bow.
You have to give your score first.
I'm giving my score first. It's a flat 5.
A flat 5.
A flat 5. It could go lower. It could go higher.
Go lower.
It really can't go higher,
lower.
but it's just because I found it entertaining enough. Annoyingly, I know I shouldn't. Against my own better judgment, I'm giving it a 5. Fuck you. What do you want to give it?
You are gonna be
1. I was sitting on a 1. I was sitting on a 1 for the first third. Yeah.
Well, in a Hack and the Fraud podcast first, it gets a bit fucking 0.
It gets a none.
It gets none.
You get none.
If this were stars, as Roger Ebert once said, this deserves no stars. It exists in a place where the stars don't shine. There's nothing here but darkness. Stay away from this movie. Don't feed it to your children. I'm speaking now to you, the audience, not Nick. Do not ruin our souls any further than they have to be. That's all I have to say. There's food coming, so we're at the end. The food's here. The podcast is over. That was my rant. Space Jam, 0 out of 10. Do not watch. That's all right. Look, we'll wrap it up. We'll keep it in there. That's art, baby. That's what happens. Any final thought? The delivery guy's still confused. Hey, this is live radio, folks. These things happen. So, look, that's all from me. That's all from Nick and the delivery guy. Look, thanks for tuning in. Promise me you won't watch this movie. And look, that's all. We'll be back pretty soon.
The guy's starting to eat my food. I better go.
Yeah. We'll probably watch another brain rot next week with Fast 9 or Black Widow. But that's it for now. Goodbye, everybody.